Marquette Golden Eagles as well as IUPUI. A lot of new names for IUPUI as well as Marquette. You see the freshman Hanif Cheatham, one of the top recruits in the country this year. He starts at the point for Marquette. Nick Osborne for IUPUI. And away we go from the Bradley Center as Marquette controls. This is a big game for the Golden Eagles. It was a tough loss against Belmont, but certainly a teachable moment for Steve Wojciechowski coming into tonight's action.
Well, I thought they played hard. They fought back. They got down in the second half, and for a young team to have that kind of grit to come back, it was really fun to watch.
Go inside to Fisher and a chance for a three-point play.
Did you see that pass from Ellenson? He gets up in the air and that two-hand almost throws it down so it comes up high for this 7-foot Fisher.
Ellenson, who stands 6'11", sometimes plays like a Steve Nash at 6 foot, but the Dirk Nowitzki comparison I think is perfect. The guy who handles the basketball well, rebounds it, and he's a pure shooter.
Well, and the thing is, he did everything in the last game against Belmont, but his freshman came out right at the end. He picked up that crucial charge. It was a crucial situation in the game, but everything else he did was flawless.
IUPUI with their first possession of the game. Darrell Combs with the basketball. Steve Wojciechowski very worried about him coming into tonight's action as Ellenson comes away with the loose ball. Going the other way, IUPUI back on defense. Ellenson stops and he couldn't get the roll. Fouled on the play. As we introduce you to the IUPUI head coach Jason Gardner in his second season in Indianapolis. He's an assistant at Memphis as well as at Loyola, and you can see those Loyola ties on this IUPUI roster.
Yes, you can, and 3 players now eligible from Loyola this season sitting out. So Jason Gardner wanting to put Indiana, the state of Indiana, and high school players as their main source of talent. He's doing that now.
He certainly knows his fair share about Indiana basketball. The Indiana Player of the Year 2 times, Mr. Basketball in Indiana, and his roster features 12 players from the state. This is Barksdale inside with a floater. Marcellus Barksdale. He's looking to break out. He's had a tough start to his season.
Fouled out with only 20 minutes played against Indiana State, and yet IUPUI still got the victory.
Luke Fisher, tough angle, and he's got 5 points early. Had a double-double, his first career double-double against Belmont. 3-point attempt by O'Leary, and that's short. Dwayne Wilson going to set up the offense for Marquette. Wilson knifing through the lane. Steve Wojciechowski pointing to Dwayne Wilson for a guy who had a tough game against Belmont. He needs to rebound tonight.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times he's not unlike a lot of younger players that their offense predicates the rest of their game. So if they're not playing well on offense, they're struggling the rest of the game.
Steve Wojciechowski in his second season here at Marquette. Off to an 0-1 start, longtime assistant at Duke. And he's got a young team that he's trying to coach up.
Well, they're a good group. They have a lot of chemistry. And so that's not the hard part. The hard part is getting them experience in the games, in crucial situations. We saw Tracy Carter with a crucial turnover, and we talked about Ellenson's charge late in that ball game against Belmont.
Nick Osborne, the junior transfer from Loyola, hits his first jumper. Big body, Nick Osborne down low. He's battling with Fisher as Hanif Cheatham too strong on his 3-point attempt. Out of bounds, staying with Marquette.
Wojciechowski did not like that opportunity. Cheatham, that's a quick shot. No passes, went right into a 3-point shot. He can get better than that.
This is a game for Marquette that they're going to try and exploit their size difference down low with Fisher and Ellenson, both at 6'11". The tallest player for IUPUI stands at 6'8". Big time advantage inside. Johnson from the corner couldn't get it. That experience factor big for Steve Wojciechowski. He said in the paper a couple of days ago, it's not like we have experience dust and we can just put it on somebody's head and make them play like they're a junior.
I like that, too.
Got to do it by playing games. Inside to Ellenson. And he got it. Soft touch inside.
Yeah, he did a really good job. He could have been and one opportunity. There's a lot of contact.
And Tracy Carter, who's the backup point guard, a freshman. He saw quality minutes in the loss on Friday and was productive for the majority of the outing.
Well, he's going to be a good one. I mean, he just, like most freshmen that don't go to Duke or Kentucky, he's going to need some time to mature, but he's quick. He's very confident in his abilities with the basketball.
Combs going to his left. Couldn't get the roll. And it's finally corralled by Ellenson. Point of emphasis for Wojciechowski. Make Combs go to his left. Ellenson charge. So Ellenson charged with his first personal. And we saw that late in the game against Belmont where he tends to put his shoulder down right into the chest of the defender.
And I think as the season goes along, he's going to have to adjust because teams are going to scout him for that. And when you're 6'11", it's hard to put the brakes on.
Barksdale give and go with O'Leary, and O'Leary just in and out. Everything but the bottom. Marquette up 7 early. Carter driving, and an alley-oop try for Ellenson off balance, gets it back out to the top of the key. And a hand foul on Hall. Down a little P7. Marquette basketball looking to add to their 7-point advantage, and we've seen them go inside early and often. Size advantage for the Golden Eagles up and down the lineup. Luke Fisher working on Hall. Little jump hook, and they're going to get him for a walk. Steve Wojciechowski not happy about the call. Good move by Fisher. Just got to put the ball on the ground.
I thought it was good as well. I thought he switched down to his right hand on the jump hook without traveling, but Larry Serrato saw something else. I'll go with what Larry saw.
O'Leary had it tipped away. Combs drives, dishes to Barksdale. Now O'Leary from the top of the key.
Tell you what, the Jaguars have moved the ball very well. They haven't converted a lot, but they've gotten some good looks because they're really sharing the basketball well early.
O'Leary, another one of those transfers from Loyola. Wilson from 3. Couldn't get it. Steal by Wilson, going the other way.
Nice job by Wilson. Reading the pass, that cross-court pass. Any quick guard that's paying attention can pick that off.
Wilson trying to pick the pocket there. And he left Mason Archie wide open.
Well, Mason Archie wanted that the whole time. He was a little upset he didn't get the ball earlier, but once he got it, no hesitation from 3.
Archie, a senior, spent his first 2 years at Davidson. Wilson from the elbow. Knocked that one down.
I like that because he's struggling from three-point line. He gets inside the 3 and the defense sags. So he's just taking what the defense gives him. Nice adjustment by Wilson.
Darrell Combs, transfer from Eastern Michigan with the ball. Driving on a 3-on-1, and he's going to get the block.
Watch the patience of Dwayne Wilson. Little hesitation. Defense doesn't close out in time. He gets in the sweet spot. And then Combs, Jeff, I tell you what, man, he doesn't mind going to the rim. He likes contact.
Talking with Steve Wojciechowski before the game, he was telling his players, Combs, coast-to-coast guy, not afraid to take it out of bounds and go right to the rack. But he mentioned, make him go to his left. He's a guy who's right-hand dominant. He's going to want to go to that right. If you force him and you seal him to go to the left, you can have success against Combs in neutralizing him.
Yeah, and we know that when the lights are brightest for this young man, he plays well. Career high, 26 at Kentucky. So it's a capable young man right here.
That was back on November 23rd, 2013. While playing for Eastern Michigan. Combs. Bright lights tonight here in Milwaukee. Ellenson back in after a quick breather. Outside with Cohen. Here comes Carter. And he was short on the floater. Got his own rebound. Trying to get it back into play. Threw it away.
Archie doing a good job of shooting the gap that time. Coming up with a turnover.
Combs step back three. Short. Pushing the tempo. Juwan Johnson. Fisher. And one. Marquette feeding the big man early.
Well, an IUPUI deciding not to double team. But if you're not going to double team, and Hall, the freshman, gets a little bit high there, gets out of position, that's going to be the end result.
He's giving up 4 inches of height. Is Evan Hall on the 6'11" junior, Luke Fisher. Hall picking up his second personal, and after the injury to Osborne, he's back into the lineup. Steve Wojciechowski thought Fisher, who had a double-double against Belmont, it could have been easily 20 points instead of 12.
Yes. Well, and he was really going to have to get his...
Frisky thought Fisher, who had a double-double against Belmont, it could have been easily 20 points instead of 12.
Yes. Well, and he was really going to have to get his free throw game together. He struggled from the line against Belmont. He's so big, Jeff, and so capable on the block. He's going to get multiple opportunities per game there.
Open three. Too strong from Archie. Wally Ellenson on the floor for the first time with his brother Henry. And Henry, the younger. That's a pretty shot.
Well, he just bulldozed his defender, put him right underneath the basket, and just jumped right over him. So Aaron Brennan, I mean, there's not much you can do in that sequence if you don't have help.
Combs doubled. 10 to shoot. Osborne inside, trying to go hard to the rim. But Wally Ellenson, we know that kid can jump. Contested the attempt by Osborne.
And that's what you like, to see Wally Ellenson seal off the backside. The rotation comes. He's going to make Osborne earn it at the line. That's good defense by Wally Ellenson.
You can see right on the hairline of Nick Osborne. A little bandage. Took an elbow from Henry Ellenson earlier in the ball game. Had to be cleaned up.
Great job by our camera crew picking that up. And, IUPUI continue to hang in there. Now they go to zone. A little matchup 2-3 zone here. See how Marquette responds.
Inside to Fisher. Throws it down.
I'll tell you what, Jeff and I are over here shaking our heads because that's Ellenson again. He's 6'11", playing like a guard. Just beautiful pass to a cutting Fisher.
He's got the boards, he's got the points, now working on the dimes. Combs going to his left. Tried to leave it for Brennan, stolen by Cheatham. In the corner for Ellenson. Couldn't get it. Offensive rebound by Wally, and he puts it back.
Wow.
Brother to brother.
And Henry was smiling more than Wally was.
Brennan up and in. Combs lost his feet.
Oh, my goodness. Hanif Cheatham is going to be talked about by his teammates on that last move. There was some Victoria's Secret left on the deck that time. Oh, my goodness.
Ellenson moving to his right and 11 offensive foul. Marquette out in front, using the inside game.
Doing a great job against him with the numbers there. But again, we're talking about how young this team is. There are going to be times when they run down court and coach calls a play and they blank out. That's what young teams do.
Could hear the raspiness in his voice, too. He is working hard and coaching these guys up.
Yeah, and only game 2, right? He's got the rasp in full effect.
Offensive foul. Headed inside as Combs was out of control. Thanks to Steve Wojciechowski for letting us go inside the huddle with him.
Good job defensively. Help side, establishing position to draw the foul. Those plays get extra opportunities for this.
Wilson drains the first 3 of the night for the Golden Eagles.
Nice set play that time. Wojciechowski knowing he needs to get Wilson some confidence.
TJ Henderson, the freshman, in for IUPUI. Osborne with range. Got the roll.
Well, if you're IUPUI, you like Osborne stepping out away from the bucket, because that means Fisher is away from the basket, where bigs feel kind of naked out there. They're not used to guarding on the perimeter like that.
Wilson tries to dish to Fisher on the give and go. Numbers going the other way for the Jaguars. Combs will pull it back out.
Sandy Cohen, good job getting back defensively, stopping the break. IUPUI had numbers that time.
Battle inside between Fisher and Osborne. Baby hook didn't go. Offensive rebound. Brennan with the follow.
Mike Brennan coming in. He's giving some good minutes. A sophomore out of Noblesville, just north of Bloomington, Indiana. So
they gave the Jaguars 17 minutes and the 6 of 6 from the field. Offensive rebound by Fisher and a tip out. Skip pass and out of the hands of Johnson.
Now that was the first time IUPUI double teamed the post.
He prides himself on his defense. Marquette made a run against Belmont. It was all because of Annam's tenacity underneath the glass. Annam matched up on Combs. Inside, size advantage. O'Leary takes advantage of Dwayne Wilson. Good pass by Osborne. IUPUI on a 7-0 run.
Well, IUPUI is a veteran ball club, and they knew they had a mismatch on the block. Worked the ball to where it needed to go. IUPUI throwing some junk here, man. They start out zone. Now they come back into a man in the same possession.
Double on Fisher. Tried to go baseline, and they're going to get Osborne. Used his hands just a bit. But IUPUI making this one interesting.
Well, upset so far. Now, when you see Belmont beating Marquette, that's not so much of an upset, in my opinion. Belmont is a quality team that could be top 25 this year. North Florida beating Illinois as well. North Florida tournament team last year, I believe, with 4 returning starters. So certain teams have the experience, they have depth, and they can come in here and they're not afraid of this type of stage.
We saw with Belmont on Friday, just a good system at work with the veterans. And it was a big test for this Marquette team. Steve Wojciechowski was curious to see how they were going to come out here tonight with their focus, knowing they've got a big game coming up on Thursday against Iowa. But this is not a team that you can sleep on, IUPUI, as Marquette turns it over. 3-point game, chance to tie, in and out. Tip didn't go.
Despite the last 2 misses, the Jaguars are getting comfortable. Starting to have some flow on the offensive end. Oh, beautiful move.
Great move. On the forehand by Wilson. Yeah, IUPUI, they defeated Indiana State 72-70 on Friday in their season opener. And when you talk to the head coach, Jason Gardner, or even their SID, they said they didn't even play that well and still got a win.
Well, their leading returning scorer, Barksdale, didn't even score. He fouled out with 20 minutes played. So you got your best returning scorer that didn't score, and yet you go on the road.
Mason Archie. But it's these kids from Loyola that have really helped out IUPUI. Three-point attempt. No good. Good rebound on the weak side by Carter.
Wally Ellenson running the floor well. I thought Cohen could have gotten him in the post there early.
Wally is quite the athlete. And ball out of bounds going to IUPUI. Some poor handling there by Dwayne Wilson. Wally Ellenson, who is a world-class track star.
Boy, I'll tell you what, in the last 5 minutes, Marquette has been really loose with the basketball. A lot of unforced turnovers, and they have 9 on the game right now. Steve Wojciechowski's got to be a little concerned. They did a good job against Belmont. They only had 11 turnovers, but tonight, very loose with the rock.
It all goes back to that point of emphasis with the focus.
Yes.
How do these guys rebound after a tough game, a game where they had a chance to win against Belmont, but had a couple of sloppy possessions late, didn't finish the half the way that Steve Wojciechowski wanted to, ended up in an L. So how do they respond in this game against IUPUI, a team they should beat on paper?
Sure. And they started the game well, but what happens is young players lose their focus, as you mentioned, and don't understand it. These guys are veterans. IUPUI, Belmont, these teams that we showed on the graphic, Radford, George Washington that beat Virginia, they got guys that can buy their own liquor. So they've got older guys on the team, and they're not going to be afraid of stages like this.
Seven to shoot. Ellenson got hammered inside by Barksdale. Henry Ellenson saw a clear path at the basket. Barksdale wanted none of it.
Well, Barksdale didn't give up on the play. It looks like he got a lot of ball there. But Ellenson doing a good job being crowded, able to swing through and get to the rim and draw the foul.
Ellenson perfect from the free throw line so far.
And I love watching his form because when you're young, you're taught to reach into the cookie jar. That's the follow through. So you know when you're young and you're trying to reach up to the cookie jar, watch his follow through right there. Getting that chocolate chip cookie, Henry.
I heard he was like a peanut butter cookie guy.
Oh, that's what it was? Peanut butter cookie?
I like chocolate chip, too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like both. So.
To each their own.
That's right.
Earned himself a couple of chocolate chips with 4 for 4 from the stripe so far. Three-point attempt by Brennan. Good box out by Ellenson down low. And a hand foul on Brennan. Didn't want to give up possession on Fisher down low. First on Brennan. Both teams in the bonus, so free throws coming for Fisher.
Well, that's the adjustment that all college players have to make this year. Trying to clean up freedom of movement. And when you've given up 4 or 5 inches, as Brennan is, it's kind of demoralizing to allow Fisher to walk right into the block where he can do damage.
We've seen the officials be very consistent with their whistles early and allowing that freedom of movement, and there have been over 25 rule changes this year. And we've seen the officials do a good job of putting these new rules into play.
Jeff, here's my take. In our game, our officials don't get enough credit. We have some of the best officials in the country, and they do an outstanding job, and they've made a better adjustment than the players and coaches have thus far.
Good backdoor cut by IUPUI, cutting it to a 5-point deficit. 5 to play here in the first half. Double screens down low. Johnson drives over to Fisher. Couldn't get the roll. Had a good look.
Fisher doing a good job of seeking out the basketball on the offensive glass. He should have 5 to 6 offensive rebounds before the night's over.
Barksdale with a good move. 7 to shoot. 2 on the deck for Marquette. Barksdale too strong. Up ahead, that's Johnson, one-on-one. Good defense by the freshman T.J. Henderson. And we look at some of the new rule changes here in the NCAA. These are just some of the notable ones. Shot clock, restricted area, replay reviews, timeouts. But we were talking about the freedom of movement for the offense.
Yeah, no hand checking on cuts. Can't put your hands on a driver with the basketball. And they're trying to clean up post play as well, so you can arm bar and keeping your elbow at a 90-degree angle. But if that angle changes at all, that's an automatic foul.
As soon as they see the extension with that hand, whistle going. Another turnover by Marquette. That is their 10th. That is allowing IUPUI to stay in this game.
And what we're going to see here is that IUPUI has already been on the road once. They won at Indiana State. The longer they stay in striking distance in this game, the more dangerous they're going to be down the stretch. They've got guys that know how to close out games.
Brennan from 3. That's a pure stroke for a big man. 2-point game.
Tell you what, Brennan struggled to hit his earlier 3 opportunities, but he elevated with a lot of confidence that time.
Ellenson inside, short. Here come the Jaguars.
Boy, Brennan is sucking air, too. Jason Gardner better get him out of the game.
That's O'Leary from way deep. And IUPUI on an 8-0 run takes the lead.
Again, I like what Coach Wojciechowski's doing. Letting his young guys fight through some adversity here and not call automatic timeout.
Carter tied up. Going to be a jump ball. And possession going to IUPUI.
They lose focus, allow teams like IUPUI back into the game, and now they have to refocus and try to reestablish that lead.
And you look at those upperclassmen, too. 2 of the juniors are transfers, so they haven't spent a lot of time in a Marquette uniform as IUPUI called for the travel. And the one senior they have on the team is a walk-on.
Right.
And a guy who they gave a scholarship to for his energy.
Yep. So guys that are really making a difference that will play extended minutes are all underclassmen.
Learning on the fly. There is no better experience than doing it.
Yeah, and I like what he's doing because he's, subtly that gives your team a lot of confidence if you don't panic and call timeout at the first sign of trouble.
Wilson lost the dribble. 12th turnover by Marquette. 3-pointer by Combs. Biggest lead of the game for IUPUI.
Well, Dwayne Wilson got in trouble, got too deep on the penetration.
The Jaguars with 15 points off turnovers and a foul inside. They got Evan Hall. That is number 3 on Hall. Coming off the bench, trying to provide some depth down low. So Brennan, who you can see his jersey soaked already because he's been working hard down low. He has to come back in after a very brief break. This Marquette team, they're shooting the ball very well, better than 50% from the field, but they've been careless with the basketball.
That's been the biggest difference. And what happens when you have those type of turnovers, those high number, I believe they have 11 at this point, it just kills any momentum that you're able to establish.
Fisher hits a couple, brings Marquette back within 2. It's a big final 2 minutes for Steve Wojciechowski and the Marquette Golden Eagles. How do they finish the half?
Well, I like what they're doing now. They're going zone, and think about how big the zone is with Cohen's link on the backside with Fisher and Ellenson. That's going to be a tough zone to penetrate.
7 to shoot for Combs. Long 3 off the glass, no good. Rebound goes back to IUPUI. They've got numbers. Ellenson in no man's land. Another 3 ball. Couldn't get it. Cheatham skies for the rebound. Wilson drives, hangs. And they're going to get Wilson with a charge. That is his third personal and a little bit out of control.
Well, I think they have the right idea, does Marquette, trying to get the early baskets with the fast break. But Wilson's been out of control the last 2 times he's had the basketball. I think he's forcing the action. He's trying to get in the scoring column too quickly instead of letting the game come to him a little bit better.
Wilson, who was on last year's Big East All-Rookie team and the leading returning scorer for Marquette. We've seen it in his first 2 games. He's trying to do too much.
And boy, this zone is giving the Jaguars fits. This is the second possession that they've had a hard time against it.
Steal and numbers for Marquette. Cohen to the rack. Tie game.
Man, Sandy Cohen went with authority. Thought he was going to try to rip that one down.
Timeout, IUPUI. That's a guy, Sandy Cohen, that you might see a few more minutes come the second money's worth.
Well, and the Jaguars have come in and done a really good job of keeping this home crowd down. But they haven't had a lot to be excited about, especially in the last 2 minutes of this first half.
Defensive intensity is picked up for Marquette. 8 to shoot. Henderson off the back of the rim, no good. Final possession, IUPUI is going to hold it.
Really difficult to defensive rebound out of a zone. You're playing a space and then you have to go seek out a body. Marquette's got to do a better job of cleaning up the defensive glass.
Combs setting up his offense. Shot by Combs. Did not go. It's been a fun half so far. Marquette's got to do a better job of hanging on to the basketball here in the second half. 13 turnovers. Dwayne Wilson had 5 of them, and he starts the second half on the bench. Sandy Cohen starts on the floor.
And I think that's a good sign from Coach Wojciechowski to let him know, hey, you might have 11 points on 5 or 6 shooting, but you've also got 5 turnovers. Cannot have that.
Ellenson from 3 off the back of the iron. Marquette, the beginning part of this season, their 3-point shooting has been cool. Osborne. Nick Osborne. A 6-foot 8-inch transfer from Loyola. He's had a good night.
There's no fear with the Jaguars. They are raising with a lot of confidence from 3-point land.
Cohen, nothing but air.
So you see Jaguars look for early offense. If they don't get it, they put Marquette into a situation where they have to play defense for the majority of the shot clock.
Osborne from the baseline, no. Tip back out, and an offensive foul on the rebound attempt by Matt O'Leary.
Matt O'Leary's got to be careful. He almost got a technical that time. Very demonstrative against the call. Tommy Short was watching him the whole time. He's very fortunate to pick up a technical.
He was sandwiched between 2 Golden Eagles, able to tip it out, but got a little help with a push. Marquette looking for their first points of the second half. And a turnover as Johnson tried to feed Ellenson down low. Free by Combs. Got it over Fisher. And rebound controlled by Cohen.
Well, Marquette fortunate that time that 3 didn't drop.
Cheatham drives, reverse. That's pretty from the freshman.
Yeah, Cheatham going to his left hand along the baseline with the English on the nice follow. Nice finish, excuse me.
Cheatham, one of the top 100 prospects that came to Marquette out of high school. Cheatham from Pembroke Pines in Florida. Cheatham drives again. Combs tied him up. And they're going to get him for a foul. Combs said he got all ball. Second personal instead on Combs.
Let's take a look here. Well, right there, that's a foul before they even get tangled up with that arm in there against the body. So Tommy Short, official along the baseline, right on top of it.
That right hand just kind of sneaking in there before the left hand hooked down.
Cheatham has had solid minutes here to start the second half. Nice reverse layup. Now he puts pressure on the defense and gets to the free throw line. Good looking freshman.
First points in the game, too, coming in the second half. And he's been a starter the first two games for Marquette. Combs drives off the window with a roll. That's an aggressive drive.
It was an aggressive drive against the 6'11" Fisher right at the basket. So, no fear in these Jaguars.
Ellenson trying to go baseline, dishes it out. Cohen drives and one. Look at the hang time from Sandy Cohen. 3-point play in the lead for Marquette. And worth noting, Nick Osborne picking up foul number 3 with only 2:45 expired in the second half.
Now, Jeff, you and I saw a fellow Big East program Saturday night, DePaul, hosting Western Michigan at home, and they were selling for jump shots early in the game. And what did they do in the second half? They started dribble penetration, got to the free throw line, were able to win the game. It looks like Marquette is going to do the same thing here in the second half.
Floater by Archie's good. Back and forth we go. Got a feeling that this one's going to be tight for the rest of the way. Just the style of play IUPUI coming out of the gates with. Wilson from 3. Couldn't get it. Wilson swings it around. Ellenson tries. Buries the 3.
That was special ball movement. 3 guys along the three-point line. They just whipped it around the world.
Combs got the roll over Fisher.
Boy, Combs likes seeing Fisher at the rim, doesn't he? Most guards would fear that situation.
Mishandled by Cheatham. O'Leary going the other way, and he dunks it.
Well, Jason Gardner getting his team fired up on the sideline.
Garner with a special pedigree, playing at Arizona for 4 years. And learning under Lute Olson.
One of the best to ever do it.
Barksdale. Combs to set it back up. IUPUI being very patient with the basketball. 7 to shoot. Barksdale drives, and before the shot, had a foul. Marquette moving the ball well.
Well, right now, Cheatham on the
playing with your hands up.
Yep.
Show these new officials, you got to show your hands.
Show your hands. That's right.
Three-pointer off the mark, but another offensive rebound.
Well, we saw in the Belmont game that there are long rebounds for teams that shoot a lot of three-point shots. So guards have to go chase and hunt the ball down on those long rebounds.
Already 6 offensive rebounds for IUPUI, and they've been on shots very similar to that. And now a turnover, and a foul is going to be called on Combs.
Great call by Tommy Short. So that was the right call. Combs is frustrated. He lost the ball. Sandy Cohen doing a good job defensively, and watch him take Sandy's legs out. That's the proper call.
Third foul on Combs. And he's going to come out of the ball game. T.J. Henderson, the freshman, checks in. He played some good minutes in the first half.
He did. There was no drop-off for IUPUI when he was in the game.
12 minutes, didn't turn it over, had an assist. Tough on D. Wilson from 3. Still can't find the range. And Sakar Annam is going to pick up his 4th personal as he goes over the back. Annam was so big in the Belmont game, providing penetration, getting layups. But when he has taken the jump shots from three-point range, he's been off.
And they can get it back here on the defensive end. Marquette did a really good job at the end of the first half in their zone defense.
Back in the zone here. O'Leary inside. Archie tried to go up. And he got the end line. On the drive to the baseline. Good help by Marquette.
So I'd like to see Fisher get the ball inside. He's got a freshman guarding him right now. He can take advantage of him.
Carter inside to Fisher. And Hall got underneath Fisher. Carter looked like he was going to try and take a three, but Fisher flashed wide open.
I feel bad for Hall right now. The freshman, he's turning to box out because he thinks there's a shot that goes up. Look at him box out. And then the ball goes to Fisher, and he's got that contact right there. So
to make matters worse, got him in the dome, did the ball, and he picked up his fourth foul.
Yeah,
it's not a good sequence.
No, not at all.
Carter fouled by Barksdale. Beg your pardon, they're going to get Henderson on the reach in. Barksdale had snuck his hand inside, but they got Henderson. Wilson towing the line. It's a two, but that's a big confidence booster.
It is, and he understands that the defense is sagging back in on Fisher, so he's going to have an open look.
Marquette back to his zone. Wally Ellenson playing the four next to Fisher. Brennan fades away, short. Offensive rebound again, IUPUI.
Fisher won't get credited with a blocked shot, but he changed that shot because of his presence.
Miss on the baseline by Brennan. Here comes Marquette. Good ball fake by Cohen. Hits for three-point play.
Sandy Cohen's had some good minutes in both games. Came in and hit a three against Belmont. Got his team going. Nice up fake, dribble drive, stay strong with the finish. Sandy Cohen giving his team a much needed lift.
How about the vertical from Cohen to hang and hit the shot? Cohen, a guy who's put on some weight from last year to this year. We were commenting on Friday. I'm not sure where he put it because he's so well put together, but he's a little bit more solid. And it's plays like that where an extra 20 pounds can help you.
Oh, there's nothing like the weight room. There's a lot of confidence that can be had in the weight room if you put the work and time in. And obviously he's done that.
Cohen with the steal. Almost got it. Gets back to help on defense. 10 to shoot. O'Leary with a scoop. Couldn't get it. Fisher. Strong rebound. Good defense.
Marquette's zone defense has been stellar here this evening.
Cohen's been a difference maker from three. Lid might have popped off Bradley Center if that went down.
Yeah, they need something like that to happen.
That defense for Marquette keeping IUPUI off the scoreboard for nearly 4 minutes.
Well, all they're doing is passing around the perimeter. There's no penetration via the pass or bounce. And you're not going to beat a good team just by whipping it around the perimeter.
O'Leary. Now Henderson with a drive, and he walked. He saw Barksdale on the baseline, but he took too many steps. Marquette has the
kind of forwards who are playing big positions, but they're still on the perimeter. It's very difficult for Luke Fisher to chase those guys and contest three-point shots. When you go to a zone, you can cover the perimeter a lot better.
Smaller lineup for Marquette. Henry Ellenson has not been on the floor for the last couple of minutes as Cohen couldn't get it. Fisher follows.
Good job by Cohen once again. He didn't get the the finish, but he puts pressure on the defense, and good things happen when you get the ball into the paint.
Marquette with 24 points in the paint tonight, using their big men.
Student section from Marquette starting to come alive a little bit.
Barksdale. Henderson from way deep. Couldn't get it. That's out of his
range. This is what Steve Wojciechowski meant when he talked about drag. The last big man up the floor setting the screen.
Fisher inside. Marquette on a 9-0 run. And over 5 minutes without a bucket for IUPUI, and Jason Gardner's seen enough. He wants to slow things down. And Luke Fisher. Fans getting fired up here in Milwaukee. Fisher 6 of 7 from the field. 8 rebounds. He's nearing another double-double. And 4 of those 8 rebounds coming on the offensive side.
They have not been able to figure out this zone, have IUPUI.
Barksdale drives, kicks. O'Leary with 1 on the clock. Couldn't get the roll. Barksdale with an offensive rebound.
Good job by Barksdale chasing the rock down.
Oh, wow. Combs with a deep 3.
That's one way to shoot your way against a zone. Just take a step back.
Combs has had a tough night shooting. Just 4 for 11. And he's hit 2 from 3 and a block by Barksdale. Carter from 3.
See what's happening, the guards and Carter and Wilson, when they notice their defenders sagging down to help on Fisher, they're just taking a quick shot. Maybe swing the ball around and let Fisher go to the other side and reestablish himself in the post, because they're playing right into the hands of IUPUI when they take those quick long-distance jumpers.
Shot clock winding down with 3. Combs to the rack. Last 2 possessions have all been Darrell Combs. He's got 14.
Well, he's crafty with that rock. He is right-hand dominant. And Marquette's not been able to do anything about it.
Marquette calls a timeout, but Darrell Combs has brought IUPUI right back into the game.
Defenders all the way to the rim. Darrell Combs crafty with the rock.
14 on the night, 9 of those coming in this half. He's only missed 1 shot. He does have 3 fouls, however, and a foul inside. Henry Ellenson back in. He also has 3 fouls, but he just drew 1 on O'Leary. His 3rd, and a 1-and-1 coming for Henry Ellenson.
Boy, Marquette was very fortunate that possession. They sagged back down, and that was going to be a turnover had they not made that call.
Ellenson knocks down the first.
I mean, in terms of Big East teams, Marquette may have had the 2 most difficult first games of the season. I mean, Belmont, we talked about, they're good enough to be a top 25 team. And IUPUI, they don't look intimidating. You won't be scared watching them in the airport. But they have come out here and played extremely well. And they're starting to figure out this zone defense.
These are 2 big tests coming out of the gate for Steve Wojciechowski's team. Nearly an air ball from the corner from O'Leary. Marquette a chance to extend their lead. And these youngsters getting time. And the schedule for Marquette does not get a whole lot easier going forward either.
No, it doesn't. So they're going to know exactly who they are and what they need to work on by the time Big East slate comes through.
Turnover by Ellenson. 1-on-2, Combs to the rack. And they're going to count the basket. Goaltending. Cohen hit it after it hit off the window.
Well, aggressive move by Combs, and it's an obvious call there. And yet again, IUPUI finds itself hanging around once again. Marquette unable to put the knockout punch to these pesky Jaguars.
Juwan Johnson's been quiet tonight. Spin move, no shot. Before the shot, Steve Wojciechowski wanted the continuation. Instead, Johnson's going to go to the line. And as we mentioned, the schedule for Marquette, it's a bit of a bear.
I mean, Iowa's going to come in here ready to play after losing their exhibition game to Augustana. LSU might have the only freshman that's as talented or more talented than Henry Ellenson and Ben Simmons. So that's a trial by fire for these young Eagles here, Golden Eagles moving forward.
Then the potential to have Arizona State or NC State. Now, both of those teams lost their openers in the upsets that we saw. Well, so they're going to come out hungry.
Now, in NC State, to their credit, they played William and Mary. William and Mary, the tribe, are for real. All these teams that people don't hear about until March, they're still legit in November.
IUPUI making some noise here tonight on a national stage. Deep pass, and that was ill-advised by Combs. Got a tight one here in Milwaukee. Good one here down the stretch. IUPUI trying to play spoiler against Marquette. Still searching for their first win of the young season. Two big men on the floor for Marquette, Fisher and Ellenson. Fisher at the top of the key. Cohen's in there too. Hanif Cheatham driving strong to the rack.
Very similar to the first dribble drive that he had. And so Cheatham has been the most effective of any Marquette player getting the ball into the paint.
Didn't need the window on that shot. And ball's going to stay with IUPUI. Tipped away by Johnson. Hanif Cheatham, freshman out of Pembroke Pines Charter High School, averaged 24, 5, and 3 as a senior last year. Guy who's really well put together. And a turnover, and we're going to have a foul first. And that's unfortunate for Marquette. They had Johnson going to the rack by himself.
You know, Leary comes up limping. It's like he twisted his ankle here coming down. Ooh, right there.
And they got Cheatham on the foul.
Watch the left ankle. I did that a few moons ago, and that is not fun. A few moons ago, not too many, Joe.
I'll let you clean that up. I know it wasn't too many moons. Good follow by Sveti. And the ball's going to stay with IUPUI. Leo Sveti, another transfer from Western Michigan.
This is the juncture of the game. When you're going to get better, Marquette has to come up with every loose ball. Every 50-50 ball, Marquette needs to come up with in this juncture. They're going to learn how to win these close games.
And it harkens back to what we talked about at the beginning of the ball game about the focus. As Combs goes to the rack. Well, a good-looking shot there. High degree of difficulty. But for Marquette, they've got to focus on what they need to do on the defensive end, and those offensive looks are going to come.
That's exactly right.
As Ellenson tried to finish, it fouled on the way up. Ellenson's been money from the free throw stripe. Sorry.
It's early in the season. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah, it's not you. It's early in the season.
6 of 7 still ain't bad.
No, not at all. Reaching to that cookie jar, young fella. There it is. Ooh.
Off of Osborne and Marquette. They got a cookie there.
They did. And see, a lot of young teams don't understand. Toughness is making free throws, coming up with 50-50 balls, making the correct pass. This is money time. This is winning time. And they've got to learn under duress how to make plays when it counts the most.
It's not always the big things where you're hitting shots. It's the little things that create better opportunities for your offense and making stops on the defensive end. Cheatham drives. Couldn't get an offensive rebound. Johnson blocked away by Brennan. Combs drives. Got the bucket and a chance for a three-point play. Combs has scored the last 11 for IUPUI.
Combs is deadly when he gets near that rim. He is so good at finishing.
And that was not an easy shot either. Using the forehand too, is right dominant hand. Sometimes you'll see the left hand. Three-point play by Combs, and it's a one-point game. 6 minutes to play.
So now, if I'm Marquette, Ellenson has to touch the basketball because he can make plays for everyone else, including himself on the floor.
Now Brennan working his tail off down in the paint, trying to deny on Ellenson. 10 to shoot. Ellenson from 3. Didn't get it. Rebound by Mason Archie. Combs baseline. Turned it over. And now Barksdale steals it away from Cohen. And using the glass, Marcellus Barksdale. IUPUI with a 1-point lead.
Sandy Cohen did not even recognize that Barksdale was right next to him. Once again, these youthful mistakes are really damaging Marquette at this juncture of the game.
Well, IUPUI starting to believe that they can hang in with Marquette. Second half numbers for Combs, phenomenal. 16 of those 21 coming in the second half. And he's only missed one shot from the field, 7 of 8. This is a key possession for Marquette. Cheatham fouled on the way up.
Boy, Cheatham is deceptively quick. Man, he turned down the pick and roll but went to his strong left hand and got to the rim in a hurry.
Fourth on Osborne. Osborne, who's been battling with Luke Fisher and Henry Ellenson. Cheatham with some big free throw attempts here. He's had a good second half. Drills the first.
And a lot of times when you have lefties like Cheatham, you want to sit on their left hand. But Cheatham's shown with 2 dribble drives to the rim that he's equally adept at going with his right hand as well. So this is a talented freshman. Big upside for his future.
2 big free throws to give Marquette the lead.
I like his demeanor.
Ice water.
Yeah, he never changed his expression.
Marquette going back to the zone. It worked so well at the beginning of this half.
Look how much time is being wasted 30 feet from the bucket.
Combs drives. Another offensive rebound, but the putback no good by the freshman Evan Hall.
Wow, that's one that Evan Hall would like to have back, but sure, he's quite excited being a young fellow on the stage right now.
Cheatham drives again. Blocking foul inside. They're going to get Hall. And that is Hall's 5th. It's probably why they went with Haney. Cheatham has only missed once from the free throw stripe. Matt O'Leary checking back in. Remember, he tweaked his ankle a few possessions ago. Went to the bench, now back in after Hall fouled out. But this offense for IUPUI running through Combs as you see the huge discrepancy in free throw shooting. 20 of 24 for Marquette. Inside off the hands of O'Leary, and he tweaked that ankle again. Combs 1-on-4. Combs going to try and do it himself, and he took too many steps.
Well, see Jason Gardner keeping his composure, but sure he's a little bit upset with that last possession.
Combs doing everything himself here in this second half, and that was just too much.
I agree. Getting too deep, and it looked like he was going to pass. Fella, you've been scoring all second half. Go to score.
Wilson up and under, can't get it from point blank range. 3-point game. Combs tripled. Barksdale, the senior leader. Combs not afraid to fire from out there, too. Archie from 3. The foul and 1. A tie game and a chance to take the lead for IUPUI.
Well, Mason up youth. Not being able to contest the shot without fouling.
Huge 3 from Mason Archie. And he rattled in the free throw to give IUPUI the lead. 9th lead change. It's been tight since the opening tip. Fisher's been quiet here in the second half. There's Cohen from 3, and he drilled it.
Sandy Cohen, Hannes Cheatham have both come out and given really good minutes for Marquette.
Fans getting loud. Looking for a stop on defense. Combs had it blocked away. There's Cheatham. Going to take it himself. It got stripped away, but it's going to stay with Marquette. Good help defense by Archie, not giving up on the play. Cheatham had Wilson out in front, decided to take it himself.
Yeah, Dwayne Wilson's body language is not very good right now.
Cheatham running the offense. Cohen's got the hot hand. Drives, hangs, can't hit. Rebound Osborne.
Still like the shot. He got into the paint area, put pressure on the defense.
Archie doesn't get the roll. Big rebound by Ellenson.
Marquette in good shape right now. If they can get quality shots each of these last possessions, they should be able to hold on and win here, but they've got to have good possessions.
Fisher, that's not his range. Cohen fires from 3 again. Little short. And we're going to get a foul inside on the block out by Brennan. Sandy Cohen missed right there, but he hit just a moment ago, and look at all the traffic he had to run through.
Well, you got a double screen, and then watch the exchange between Cheatham and Cohen. Cheatham rushes his man, gives Cohen enough space for the open look.
Ellenson back to the line. Big free throws for the big man. Nails the first. You mentioned Ellenson having a quiet double-double against Belmont. His teammate Luke Fisher double-doubles in each of the first 2 games. He's done work down low.
He has.
2 big free throws there by Ellenson. 4-point lead for Marquette. Fans rise to their feet. Offense has run through Combs for IUPUI here in the second half.
Good defensive possession.
3 to shoot. Brennan fadeaway. Tough shot. Wilson grabs a rebound.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marquette, we didn't see a lot of zone against Belmont. With that zone defense, maybe the MVP of tonight if they hold on and win this game.
Enforcing tough shots all night. Ellenson working on Brennan. Good help defense by Archie. Numbers going the other way. Archie goes to the rack and blocked by Cohen. Cohen's going to get the foul. Contested shot. Cohen picks up his second.
Well, Ellenson gets a little bit too deep. See Archie coming through it. Let's meet at the rim. Nice challenge by Cohen. Tell you, man, Mason Archie, senior. Combs, junior. Barksdale, senior. O'Leary, junior. These teams at this level do not go away easily.
Friendly roll to nail 2. Archie's got 11. 1 minute to go and a 2-point lead for Marquette. Huge possession for the Golden Eagles.
He's going to let Cheatham run the shot clock down. There's got to be a set play, maybe a high pick and roll.
Set it up for Cohen. And Cohen went out of bounds. Came back in, touched it.
It's one of those rules where you cannot run out of bounds along the baseline and come back in and be the first person to catch the rock. So Cohen along the baseline. Watch along here. See, very easy for them to make that call right there.
Here's where your defense has to step up if you're Marquette. Protect the lead. They go inside. Osborne underneath.
That was too easy. That was too easy. Fisher fell asleep on the back line.
That's a play that Jason Gardner had drawn up since play number 1 when they went to the zone. And he uses it here to tie the game 69 apiece with 30. And Mike Gazelle that runs the point. It's going to be every bit for Marquette. They still got a tough one here. Tie game. And Cheatham still running the point.
Well, we saw the set play last time. It looks like it's going to be different. A high screen and roll.
Cheatham trying to get free. Finds Wilson. Wilson drives, threw it away. Off of IUPUI and staying with Marquette. Shot clock will not reset. 5 to shoot with 13.5 seconds on the game clock.
Boy, but you heard a gasp from the crowd because that was a turnover waiting to happen.
Late game action. 3 to shoot. Wilson fires from 3. Short. Rebound IUPUI. 4 to play. 3, 2. Combs. Couldn't get it up. Shot blocked, and we are going to OT. Interesting sequence for both teams.
They want to have success.
Fisher with only 2 field goal attempts in the second half. He wins the tip in overtime, and Marquette tries to control in the 5-minute extra period.
You know, the game of basketball is not hard. Players make it harder than it needs to be.
Cohen drives, had an open lane and missed. Cohen's played valuable minutes off the bench. Second most minutes on the team behind Luke Fisher, who's played all but 1 minute in this game.
And they've needed all those minutes from Luke Fisher because even though he hasn't had that many shot attempts in the second half, his size is causing havoc.
Barksdale from 3, couldn't get it. Osborne skies for the rebound, got caught underneath the backboard and a travel. Got in too deep on the baseline.
That's a man-sized offensive rebound. And he just got caught underneath, like you said. Let's see if they can go back into the paint.
Ellenson working on Brennan. They double. Ellenson up and over to Jaguars.
Nice job of Henry taking his time. He recognized where the defense was coming from and spun the opposite direction.
17 points from the freshman. Archie. Again, that perimeter offense from IUPUI. Nothing in the middle. Combs from deep. Short. Out of bounds. Going to Marquette. He's got that range, but that's not a good shot.
No, it's not. And let's look at Ellenson. Look at how he looks at the defense, surveys. Okay, they're coming from the top. I'm spinning baseline. Too late. That is a seriously gifted freshman in Henry Ellenson.
Good touch from a tough angle. Fisher threw it to Wilson. Corner, short. Wilson's cold from distance. Steve Wojciechowski telling his team, defense, get those hands up. Wilson almost got the steal. Going back to the zone, it was so successful in the second half. Inside Osborne. Fisher. Well, that's a good look from Osborne.
These guys are confident, man. I mean, they get the ball. They know what to do with it. Excellent job of spinning away from the contact.
Cheatham in no man's land. Wilson saves. Cheatham going baseline, and Barksdale throws it off of Cohen.
What a play by Barksdale. It looks like Combs is cramping or something. He's had a hard time getting up the last 2 times. Cheatham had the right idea, but that's just a heads-up play by the senior out of Lexington, Kentucky.
Marcellus Barksdale, the team leader in scoring, returning to IUPUI. He's got the rock now. Combs, he had the hot hand in the second half. Barksdale drives, lost it. Fisher's got it. Trying to weave his way through traffic. 2 minutes to play in OT. Cheatham to Fisher.
See what I mean by Fisher? He'll get the basketball, he'll share it, but they need to get him more touches.
Ellenson one-on-one. Fisher battling for the board, and it's going off of IUPUI and going to Marquette. There was an extra bounce off the rebound.
See Luke Fisher get in there, causing havoc once again. His size and his presence. He's just such a smart post player that I'd like to see him get the ball more here.
Fisher with the screen and roll. Get it out to Wilson with a ball fake. Drives, hangs, misses. Fisher trying to keep it alive, but it's corralled by Archie.
Got to tip your hat to the Jaguars also. Their defense has been pretty good here in overtime.
IUPUI calls a timeout. Try and set something up offensively. 126. First 2 of his career. Transfer from Indiana. IUPUI walking it up the floor. Combs going baseline. And he was on the end line. A turnover by IUPUI. Marquette is going to have it.
Wow. So now we've seen IUPUI kind of get some careless turnovers here in the last few possessions. Have been critical.
They've only had 3 shot attempts in overtime. Look at Ellenson go one-on-one, and a foul before the shot. You don't see a lot of big men handle the rock like Ellenson.
Yeah, but you know what? He understands O'Leary was too close in proximity, and if he blew with that first step, tried to blow by him, he knew he would draw contact. It's a heads-up play by Ellenson.
4th on O'Leary. Big men in foul trouble for IUPUI. Osborne also with 4. Ellenson short on the first.
Again, this is toughness. Got to hit your free throws down the stretch.
Those legs are tired. You're playing extra time. It's the second.
These guys, 18-22, they're tired? Really?
Less than a minute to play in Milwaukee. Golden Eagle fans to their feet. Combs trying to set up his offense. Double dribble. Thought about passing. Picked it up. And that's the 4th turnover by the Jaguars in OT.
Combs is just trying to do too much. He's got a couple of veteran guys in the backcourt with him. Just trying to overhandle and trying to make too many things happen. Let's see if Marquette can take advantage.
Playing with a lead, Marquette, with time winding down.
Steve Wojciechowski has a lot of confidence in Hanif Cheatham. He's been in this position here throughout the second half and overtime.
Ellenson out to Wilson. 4 to shoot. Wilson drives left hand and 1.
Well, that's a big-time move. Defense tries to crowd him as the shot clock runs down. He goes to his offhand, away from the defense. And that weight room paying off dividends here. Pretty move by Dwayne Wilson.
He's been quiet. He's had turnover issues in this ball game, but he went to the rack and hit a big shot and converts on a three-point play. And it's a 4-point lead for Marquette. The horn blew. Ball in play. Turnover. And it's going to stay with IUPUI. Combs gave it up again. Cohen almost got the turnover.
Sandy Cohen.
Jaguars with only one bucket in overtime. Archie from three, in and out. Rebound Combs. Archie from three again, short. Rebound Cohen puts this one ice for Marquette. First win of the season.